The crossroads of awakening, your final moment of 2025, as this year races toward its inevitable conclusion. A profound spiritual crossroad emerges before every one of you who has been set apart. This isn't a subtle invitation. It's a powerful and inescapable moment of decision that will define your transition into the new season. You stand on the threshold of 2026, and the question is simple. Will you finally activate the supernatural gifts that the divine placed deep within your soul, or will you cross over into the next year, spiritually unarmed and unprepared? Take a moment to feel the truth resonating in your spirit. That deep, undeniable inner knowing tells you that your entry into the coming season was never meant to be empty or without purpose. You were destined to stride forth cloaked in power, blazing with unshakable clarity, wielding divine authority, and anchored in a sacred, unassailable identity. Unfortunately, a vital and often overlooked truth exists that many people choose to ignore, yet it's essential for your survival. A chosen one who remains ignorant of their true spiritual gifts becomes an accessible and easy target for the forces of resistance and doubt. But heaven, in its infinite wisdom and protection, absolutely refuses to allow you to conclude 2025 in such a vulnerable state. As these final weeks of the year unfold and approach their end, you'll sense a noticeable and significant shift in the atmosphere surrounding you. The very air begins to feel charged, almost vibrating with an electric intensity, as if the unseen spiritual realm is drawing closer, making its presence felt more powerfully than ever before. This proximity is not a coincidence. It is because, at the very edge of 2025, the spiritual veil is truly at its thinnest. The unseen spiritual battle is becoming louder and more pronounced, demanding your attention and your preparation. And your deep, fundamental purpose, the very reason you were created, is now calling out your name, whispering a message with a clarity and an urgency that you can no longer afford to ignore or dismiss. This is because chosen ones do not simply drift or stumble into such pivotal moments of destiny. They are purposefully summoned. They are strategically positioned. They are abruptly awakened precisely when the cosmic and divine clock of heaven determines that the time is right. Every chosen soul carries within them a treasury of divine gifts. We're not talking about mere ordinary talents or just natural human abilities. These are supernatural instruments forged in the fires of the divine Creator Himself. They are meticulously designed not just to comfort you, but to guide your path, shield you from harm, empower your actions, and ultimately reveal to you who you truly are in the grand scheme of the spiritual kingdom. Understand this. These sacred gifts are not random endowments. They are direct assignments. They are weapons for spiritual warfare. They are your unique spiritual fingerprints, irrefutable evidence that you were marked and set apart long, long ago, even before the trials of life ever attempted to break your spirit. If you are reading this script right now, absorbing and resonating with these words, it's a clear sign. It is because something profound in your spirit already recognizes this truth. God is currently igniting and awakening a latent power within you, a gift that has been patiently and quietly waiting beneath the surface of your conscious life for what feels like years. That quiet, nagging intuition you've always possessed. That strange, inexplicable sensitivity to atmosphere and people that you could never fully explain. That constant, irresistible inner pull toward a calling that feels infinitely greater than your current reality. None of that was just your imagination. It wasn't merely a passing phase of overthinking. It was the early, subtle echo of the profound power you are about to finally and fully unlock today. You aren't just reading words about the concept of spiritual gifts. You are on the cusp of discovering the divine essence that God meticulously placed inside you before you were ever born, before you were ever tested, before you were ever wounded, and long before the world tried to convince you that you were simply ordinary. No, there is something ancient, divine, and fiercely intentional residing within you. The very moment you finally embrace and truly understand your gifts, your entire life narrative will begin to fall into place, making perfect and beautiful sense. If this message is creating a stirring, a tremor of recognition, or a fire in your chest, it means your spirit is responding to truth, a truth that belongs solely to you. Before we delve deeper into these specific gifts, let's pause and anchor this moment in the physical realm. Hit the like button to amplify this revelation, allowing it to reach more chosen ones who need to hear it now. Subscribe so you don't miss the next stage of what the divine is awakening within you. And most importantly, please comment 99 below. The number 99 is a powerful spiritual symbol, representing the heartfelt call of the shepherd, the one who relentlessly searches for the single, lost sheep he utterly refuses to lose. And today, I assure you, he came specifically for you. Fire, the gift of divine wisdom, the first gift, the foundation upon which your purpose stands, is the gift of divine wisdom. This is a formidable force that runs infinitely deeper than mere intellectual intelligence, proves sharper and more accurate than human logic, and is far more disruptive to the status quo than conventional human reasoning. This gift does not arrive politely, nor does it wait for your permission, and it certainly never adheres to the timing you might expect. It typically breaks into your awareness like a sudden, brilliant flash, a piercing, undeniable clarity that instantaneously cuts through confusion in the same way that a bolt of lightning violently slices open a heavy, dark sky. While those around you might become hopelessly lost in the incessant noise of their own thoughts and fear, you see the path that remained invisible to everyone else. You immediately sense the deeper, underlying meaning behind events that others carelessly dismiss as random. You quickly recognize the hidden, repeating pattern beneath the surface level chaos. This wisdom does not just make you smarter in an academic sense. It makes you spiritually precise. It is that quiet, insistent inner nudge that acts like an invisible hand, stopping you just before you step into a potential trap. It is the soft, clear whisper that guides you unerringly on who to trust, who to avoid, what old baggage to release, and what new path to pursue. It is the fundamental reason you have always felt inherently different, often misunderstood by others, because you frequently possess a knowing you simply cannot explain or rationalize. People rarely grasp how you manage to foresee the outcome of a situation long before any physical event had even occurred. Divine wisdom is not a loud voice. It seldom announces its arrival with fanfare. It operates in profound silence, in deep stillness, in those subtle, quick moments where something deep within your spirit speaks far louder and more clearly than the clamoring world around you. Sometimes, this wisdom manifests as a strong warning you simply cannot ignore. Other times, it arrives as a sudden revelation that feels too perfect and too timely to be mere coincidence. And yes, sometimes it feels like a heavy burden, because carrying an insight that others don't yet see can be profoundly isolating. But this precisely is the undeniable mark of a chosen one, the ability to see the storm from above it, not from inside it. While others descend into panic, you remain calm and observe. While others completely crumble, you analyze and find solutions. While others drown in a flood of raw emotion, you calmly receive the divine direction. This gift was never given to you to make your life easy or comfortable. It was granted to make your purpose absolute and unavoidable. And here is a secret most people will never grasp. Divine wisdom is the unseen blueprint behind your astonishing endurance. It's why you manage to survive life seasons that, by all human standards, should have utterly destroyed you. It's why you had the foresight to walk away from critical situations just before they exposed their true, devastating danger. It's why God can confidently entrust you with assignments that others would instantly mishandle or misuse. And now that this crucial gift is rising in you with renewed strength, something else even more powerful is about to awaken in perfect synchronicity alongside it. The gift of knowledge, prepare yourself for the revelation ahead, as it will fundamentally shift the entire way you perceive your own divine calling. The second gift is the gift of knowledge. This is the astonishing, almost disorienting spiritual ability to simply know without being directly told, to immediately grasp and understand complex truths that no human ever explained to you, and to perceive profound meanings that never surfaced for others. This is not wild imagination, not a lucky guess, and it goes far beyond regular intuition. It is a genuine spiritual download, a direct, instantaneous transmission from heaven to your waiting spirit, arriving with the indisputable weight of certainty and the absolute precision of a divine signature. This unique gift makes you feel as if you are consistently reading between realities. You instantly catch the small, vital details that others casually miss. You sense profound connections between events long before they logically surface for anyone else. You understand the true intentions of people well before they even open their mouths to speak, and sometimes the information arrives with such a sudden jolt that it feels as if someone physically placed it directly into your mind, because in a spiritual sense, that is exactly what is transpiring. God is revealing what your physical eyes literally cannot see. This specific gift is the reason you've always possessed an internal feeling of being ahead of the curve, even during moments where life made you feel temporarily behind or delayed. It's why certain scriptures suddenly illuminated themselves, making perfect, crystalline sense to you. It's why you've walked into various rooms and instantly felt the entire atmosphere shift, not merely on an emotional level, but on a deep, immediate spiritual level. This gift operates quietly beneath the noise, beneath the social surface, beneath the carefully crafted facade that people universally present to the world. It is not fundamentally about collecting facts. It is about grasping the unfiltered truth. And truth, when it is revealed and delivered by the Spirit of God, strikes your core with such an intense clarity that it becomes utterly impossible to ignore. With this awakened gift, the hidden patterns in people, the recurring cycles in your own life, and the intricate spiritual movements occurring all around you suddenly become perfectly and undeniably visible. It's the reason that betrayal, when it struck, did not utterly destroy you. You distinctly sensed it before it arrived. It's why manipulation never successfully gained full control over you. You instantly recognized the spirit operating behind the kind words. It's why your life path consistently shifts at the perfect, predetermined moment. Heaven is constantly feeding you vital insight precisely when you need it most to turn the corner. But what makes this gift truly, explosively powerful is not just the knowledge you receive, but the profound responsibility it carries, because once the divine allows you to see the truth, you can never truly unsee it. Once God reveals something significant, your spirit is permanently changed and upgraded. Once you receive insight from above, every single decision you make from that moment onward becomes sacred and consequential. That's where the internal pressure often originates, and that's why so many chosen ones often grow up feeling too old for their chronological age, too intensely aware, too perceptive, almost as if they have already lived multiple complex lives before this one. But this feeling is not a matter of age. It is a direct result of revelation. But here is the critical twist that most people never realize. Every single spiritual revelation you have ever received in your life was a direct, necessary preparation for the next gift. The one that doesn't merely reveal the truth, but actively unleashes a transformative power. The gift of faith, and when that power fully awakens inside you, everything, absolutely everything, in your current reality begins to irrevocably shift. Prepare yourself, because what comes next doesn't just open your spiritual eyes. It possesses the power to literally move mountains out of your way. The third gift is the gift of faith. We're not talking about the casual, everyday faith that people often discuss, not a comfortable, casual belief in something unseen, but the incredibly rare, brightly burning, immovable spiritual force that becomes the very backbone of a chosen one's life. This gift operates differently than the others. It does not naturally rise in comfort or convenience. It awakens in the middle of crisis. It showcases its staggering strength not when life is gentle and predictable, but precisely when everything in your world seems to completely collapse at once, and yet, somehow, inexplicably, you keep standing. This is the specific, unyielding faith that simply refuses to die, even when every single circumstance around you is loudly screaming that it should. It is the deep, enduring faith that allowed you to survive moments and nights you never told anyone about. It is the profound faith that miraculously held you together on those darkest nights when you felt utterly, devastatingly alone. It is the faith that, at the exact moment your weary heart wanted to surrender, whispered that life-saving phrase, "Keep going. God is not done with you yet." This specific gift does not magically eliminate your fear. Instead, it makes you unstoppable in spite of your fear. It does not make the storm vanish. It keeps your spiritual anchor firmly held while the storm attempts to violently tear you apart. Many in the general population mistakenly believe that faith is simply the same as optimism, but chosen ones know a deeper truth. Faith is not always a fleeting emotion or a feeling. It is an enduring force, an intense pressure, a divine fire placed deep inside your spirit that absolutely refuses to be extinguished by painful circumstances, discouraging delays, devastating betrayals, or brutal spiritual attacks. And here is the element that often shocks most people. Your strongest faith wasn't successfully built when things worked out easily. It was built and sharpened when they didn't. It was built when your sincere prayers seemed to go unanswered, when the path ahead looked hopelessly blocked, when heaven felt unnervingly silent. That is precisely when this extraordinary gift sharpened itself inside your spirit. While others around you lost their spiritual footing and fell, something deep inside you kept declaring, "No, this cannot be the final chapter of my story." And that persistent inner voice, that wasn't just your mind trying to cope with trauma. That was the Spirit of God strengthening your gift, expanding your capacity for endurance, and perfectly preparing you for a level of purpose far grander and bigger than anything you've experienced so far. This gift single-handedly explains why you have survived emotional wounds that, by all rights, should have taken you out permanently, why you have miraculously risen from devastating disappointments that left others permanently bitter and hardened, why you have gracefully walked through spiritual warfare so intense it left tangible scars, yet somehow you continually come back stronger, deeper, and wiser. Faith of this caliber makes you appear bold and courageous even when your heart feels incredibly fragile. It allows you to walk forward purposefully even when you possess no map or clear direction. It compels you to hold onto divine promises that have not yet physically manifested. This is because somewhere, in the profound silence, you can distinctly feel God moving on your behalf. But this is where the mystery of your spiritual walk deepens significantly. The gift of faith doesn't merely sustain you through difficulty, it actually attracts battles that others will never experience. When you carry this level of unshakable faith, the spiritual darkness tries infinitely harder to break you. It does so because it fully knows that faith is the direct and open gateway to miracles, and that is exactly why the next gift we discuss is so utterly explosive. The gift of healing. The next gift does not just patiently wait for circumstances to change on their own. It changes the circumstances itself, and once that formidable power activates inside you, nothing in your life will ever remain the same. Prepare your spirit fully, because what comes next will transform simple faith into powerful action, and that action into the undeniable impossible. The fourth gift is the gift of healing. This is a spiritual gift so subtle, so frequently misunderstood, and so deeply woven into the very fabric of your identity that countless chosen ones walk through half their lives completely unaware they even carry it. Healing does not always commence with instant, visible miracles or dramatic public moments. Sometimes it must first begin with pain, your pain, the deep wounds you had to silently close by yourself, the excruciating heartbreaks that no one was there to help you through, the relentless emotional storms you were forced to survive without a single hand to hold. The vast majority of chosen ones don't recognize they possess the gift of healing because God always begins the necessary training in the loneliest, most isolated places before He allows you to heal others. He first calls you to confront the deep inner fractures inside your own soul, and that transformative journey, the silent, unseen battles, the dark nights of breaking down and then painstakingly rebuilding, becomes the very anointing that fully empowers and fuels this gift. Healing is not limited to what flows through your physical hands. It is profoundly about what flows through your presence. It's why people are mysteriously drawn to you when their lives are falling apart. Why strangers instinctively confide their deepest secrets in you without knowing why. Why people often say things like, "I feel strangely safe with you. I don't know why I'm telling you this." Or "just talking to you makes me feel tremendously better." That isn't a personality trait. That is spiritual medicine. Your profound empathy is not random chance. Your deep compassion is not a weakness. Your innate softness is not naivete. These qualities are undeniable evidence of a divine assignment, the sacred ability to carry fragmented pieces of other people's hearts without accidentally crushing them completely. You have always sensed the invisible pain of others far more acutely than most people. You can feel the atmosphere, the raw emotion, the tension, and the spiritual heaviness long before anyone in the room speaks a word. This profound sensitivity is not a curse. It is a necessary spiritual calibration. God deliberately allowed you to feel things deeply so that you could learn how to heal deeply. But here is the secret many people never truly see. Healing does not always physically look like laying your hands on the sick. Sometimes it profoundly looks like restoring someone's lost hope with a single, perfectly timed sentence. Sometimes it looks like calming a relentlessly racing, chaotic mind. Sometimes it looks like helping someone find the strength to breathe again after trauma utterly suffocated their spirit. Sometimes it powerfully looks like simply loving people back to life. Healing flows through the very way you speak, the way you offer comfort, the intensity with which you listen, and the way your simple presence manages to stabilize chaos. And because you possess this gift, you have frequently carried emotional weights that were never actually yours to bear. Not because you were weak, but because your spirit is supernaturally wired to absorb and restore the wounds of those who come near you. The enemy deliberately attempted to twist this gift into debilitating exhaustion, trying to convince you that you were too sensitive or too emotional, when, in reality, you were a spiritual conduit designed to restore others. And here is precisely where your power dramatically intensifies. Once a chosen one truly begins to heal themselves, to genuinely and fully restore their own soul, their gift miraculously multiplies. Their very voice becomes medicine. Their presence becomes a spiritual refuge. Their prayers become powerful weapons. Their hands become sacred instruments of heaven. And when this divine activation reaches its full, explosive strength, the impact becomes far greater than just emotional restoration. Because the next gift doesn't merely soothe wounds, it breaks entire chains and strongholds. The gift of miracles, and when that incredible power fully awakens, everything that once tried to hold you captive begins to tremble and break. The fifth gift is the gift of miracles, the disruptive reality, bending force that turns a chosen one's life into living, undeniable proof that God still actively intervenes in the realm of the impossible. This gift does not operate quietly or subtly. It does not blend into the background. It publicly announces itself through situations that defy all logical sense, sudden, massive breakthroughs that arrive without any warning, and definitive victories that appear at the exact moment everything seemed hopelessly lost. Chosen ones are not assigned comfortable, easy paths. They are assigned the impossible ones, not because the divine intends for them to suffer, but because a true miracle fundamentally requires a stage where failure appears absolutely guaranteed. That's why your personal journey has been filled with closed doors that suddenly and violently swung open, unexpected opportunities that appeared entirely out of nowhere. Moments where your back was against the wall, and yet something supernatural shattered the devastating outcome everyone logically expected. People may call it luck, perfect timing, or a coincidence. But you, the one who lived through it, know better. You have lived through events that defy all human explanation. You have experienced escapes from danger that should never have happened. You have witnessed profound reversals that defied every rule, every statistic, and every human prediction. And deep inside your soul, you have always profoundly felt that something, or more accurately, someone, was stepping into your story at the last, critical second, miraculously transforming looming disasters into powerful, undeniable testimonies. That, without a doubt, is the gift of miracles actively at work. This gift doesn't just manage to change difficult circumstances. It fundamentally rewrites them. It bends timelines to your favor. It dramatically accelerates desired outcomes. It utterly destroys long-standing limitations. It instantly pulls you out of traps the enemy painstakingly designed specifically for your downfall. And the core reason chosen ones often face the most relentless and intense spiritual warfare is because their miracles perpetually expose the weakness and futility of darkness. When God performs a miracle through a chosen one, it sends a clear, thundering announcement to every single unseen realm. This one is protected. This one is marked. This one is not operating on human strength. That's why your life has had those unforgettable moments that completely shocked even you. Times when you were truly left with absolutely nothing. No strength, no solid plan, no visible resources. Yet something suddenly, powerfully broke open. That's why financial blockages unexpectedly lifted. That's why relationships meant to destroy you completely collapsed before they could strike their final blow. That's why the enemy's meticulous plots unraveled visibly right in front of you. Because miracles are the profound signature of a chosen one's walk with the divine, and here is the element that most people never fully understand. God doesn't perform miracles simply for you. He performs them powerfully through you. Your life becomes an active prophecy. Your survival becomes a compelling message. Your breakthrough becomes a warning shot heard throughout the entire kingdom of darkness. And every single miracle you personally experience is strategically preparing you to become an even greater vessel for even grander ones. But pay very close attention to this next shift, because this gift is not solely about changing tangible outcomes. It awakens something infinitely more dangerous to the dark side, the ability to speak what does not yet exist, and then watch it spontaneously form into reality. The gifts of prophecy and discernment, the moment a chosen one begins to truly understand and harness the immense power of their own voice. The atmosphere around them begins to shift in ways that can no longer be overlooked or denied. Prepare yourself fully. The next gift does not merely reveal the truth or release healing or bend the impossible. It delivers direct messages straight from heaven, and once that gift fully awakens, absolutely nothing remains hidden anymore. The sixth gift is the gift of prophecy, the astonishing ability to hear what others are incapable of hearing, to sense what others ignorantly dismiss, and to receive profound messages that originate not from the mind, but from the very rhythmic heartbeat of heaven. This gift is not loud. It does not suddenly crash into your life with the sound of thunder. It subtly slips into your dreams, your quiet thoughts, and your immediate atmosphere, quietly at first, then with a weight so profoundly real you can no longer pretend it's just your imagination. Prophecy is not about predicting a fixed future. It is fundamentally about perceiving the spiritual movements that are actively shaping what is coming next. It's that vivid dream, that feels too significant to dismiss. It's the sudden, unbidden impression that drops into your spirit like a heavy stone. It's the immediate internal shift that accurately informs you of someone's true intentions long before their actions do. It is the moment you awaken with a message that feels older than you are, wiser than you are, and heavier than you are, because the undeniable truth is, it did not originate from you. Chosen ones frequently mistake this gift for simple overthinking until the exact things they sensed begin visibly unfolding in real time. The warning you intuitively felt just before the betrayal, the sudden, immense heaviness in your spirit hours before someone exposed their true, dark motives. The overwhelming urge to pray for a specific person you hadn't spoken to in years, only to later discover they were going through a major crisis at that exact moment. This gift is quite literally heaven's early alert system. It protects your assigned path and ruthlessly exposes what the enemy desperately hoped you wouldn't see. When this gift properly activates, the entire spiritual realm becomes louder and clearer to you. Your dreams become more symbolic and instructional. Your intuition sharpens into a razor's edge. Your discernment becomes instant and undeniable. Sometimes you'll feel a sudden, intense urgency to change your plans. Sometimes you'll feel deeply drawn towards someone who desperately needs a word of strength and encouragement. And sometimes God will actively use your actual voice to deliver a life-changing message that becomes the exact break through someone had been silently praying for. It is not merely about hearing God's voice. It is about speaking what He needs you to speak in that moment. But here is the profound element that makes prophecy so powerful and so deeply feared by all of darkness. Your spirit becomes incredibly sensitive to divine timing. You begin to sense precisely when a difficult season is truly ending. You can feel when a major door is about to swing open. You immediately recognize when something significant is shifting in the unseen realm, long before anything changes in the physical world. This is why the enemy so relentlessly attacks your clarity and focus, why he tries to confuse your mind with doubt, why he sends constant distractions precisely when your gift is sharpening. Because when a chosen one begins to speak with heaven's authority, strongholds tremble and fall. Prophecy exposes lies. It instantly reveals traps. It restores all lost hope. It perfectly prepares hearts for what is next. And it gives chosen ones a strategic advantage that no enemy can possibly counter: foresight. But prophecy never stands alone. Where this gift speaks, the next gift immediately discerns. The seventh gift is the gift of discernment, the essential spiritual radar that God strategically installs deep inside every chosen one. It is a radar that never rests, never lies, and never stops actively scanning the spiritual atmosphere surrounding you. This gift is the core reason your spirit violently reacts before your mind can even fully understand the situation. It's why you can feel fake energy the very moment it enters a room. It's why someone can smile at you, speak kindly, and even act supportive, yet something deep inside you whispers, "Be careful, this is not genuine." Discernment is not mere suspicion. It is not paranoia. It is a highly advanced spiritual intelligence, the innate ability to immediately detect the truth that lies behind the mask, the spiritual energy behind the behavior, and the true intention behind the action. And what makes this gift so fundamentally powerful is that it operates flawlessly even when you actively wish it wouldn't. You can try to ignore it. You can try to convince yourself you're simply overthinking. You can try to give someone the benefit of the doubt, but your spirit knows what your heart isn't yet ready to accept, and that undeniable inner knowing, that is discernment relentlessly sharpening itself again and again. This gift was powerfully shaped through every betrayal you somehow survived, through every disappointment that ruthlessly forced you to learn the crucial difference between kind words and true motives. Through every moment your trust was broken so that God could instantly upgrade your spiritual vision. Discernment reveals what people desperately try to hide. It exposes snakes and threats before they can strike. It absolutely protects you from manipulation, subtle spiritual attacks, and dangerous seductions disguised as opportunities. You have felt it countless times, the sudden, inexplicable heaviness around a new acquaintance, the deep, seated sense that something is profoundly off. The internal push to immediately distance yourself without knowing why, and inevitably later the full truth always surfaces. You've also experienced the exact opposite, an instant, profound peace around someone whose spirit is genuinely pure. Discernment doesn't just detect impending danger, it actively recognizes divine alignment. With this gift, you don't merely see people, you see the spiritual energy behind them. You don't just sense atmospheres, you accurately interpret their meaning. You don't just avoid danger, you walk around it and away from it before others even realize it was ever there. This is why you've always been so selective with your close friendships, why crowded rooms quickly drain your energy, why gossip deeply unsettles your soul, why spiritual darkness causes your body to physically react. Your spirit has been expertly trained to read between the realms, and as this essential gift sharpens, you begin to notice patterns in the spiritual warfare you face. You detect the enemy's repeated tactics faster than ever. You see red flags instantly. You recognize the spiritual assignments behind certain people's troubling behavior. Nothing catches you truly off guard anymore because discernment keeps your spirit wide awake while others are spiritually asleep. But here is the powerful twist. Discernment is not only a shield, it is a doorway. Because once you can accurately identify the hidden movement of spirits, you become fully ready for a gift that doesn't just detect the invisible, it speaks the very language of heaven itself. The gift of tongues, and when that sacred language is finally activated, the atmosphere around you begins to shift in ways you have truly never experienced before. Prepare yourself. What comes next does not just warn you, it connects you directly to the voice of God. The eighth gift is the gift of tongues. This is one of the most consistently misunderstood, tragically underestimated, and yet most spiritually explosive gifts that a chosen one can possibly carry. This gift is not purely emotional. It is not psychological. It is not something you can learn or imitate from a book. It is a direct, immediate spiritual transmission, a heavenly language deliberately placed into your spirit by God Himself. It is specifically designed to bypass every single limitation of your human mind and understanding. When this gift fully activates, it is as if your soul steps powerfully forward and your cautious intellect willingly steps aside. Praying in tongues is the moment your spirit begins speaking in its original language, the language it knew before you ever took physical form in this world. It rises from a place deeper than your thoughts, deeper than your temporary feelings, deeper than your memory. It comes directly from the part of you that still deeply remembers who you are in the kingdom, and this, fundamentally, is what makes the gift so immensely powerful. Praying in tongues profoundly strengthens you from the inside out. When your thoughts are chaotic and confusing, tongues brings immediate spiritual order. When your emotions are unstable, tongues instantly centers and stabilizes you. When you have absolutely no idea what to pray for, tongues praise the exact, perfect will that heaven needs to release over your life in that moment. This gift is pure alignment, deep intercession, active warfare, revelation, healing, and activation. And it is all happening powerfully beneath the surface, even if you don't fully understand the words being spoken. Tongues is God allowing your spirit to say what your limited human mouth cannot fully express. This is the precise reason why massive breakthroughs so often occur after periods of praying in tongues. Because the prayer did not originate from your confusion, your fear, or your limited human understanding. It came directly from the Spirit of God inside you, speaking with divine precision, authority, and supernatural accuracy. This gift also creates an impregnable shield around your spirit. When you speak in tongues, the forces of darkness cannot decode it, the enemy cannot interpret it, demons cannot possibly block it. Your prayer essentially becomes encrypted, a spiritual language that only heaven recognizes, only angels immediately respond to, and only God fully understands. That's why many chosen ones feel a sudden, powerful urge to pray in tongues during moments of intense danger, or right before major breakthroughs, or when the atmosphere around them feels intensely spiritually heavy. Your spirit senses what your mind cannot see, and tongues instantly becomes the crucial bridge between heaven's defense and your earthly vulnerability. But here is an element even more mysterious. Praying in tongues does not just strengthen your resilience, it transforms you completely. It instantly sharpens your discernment. It awakens all your dormant gifts. It amplifies your spiritual authority in the unseen realm. It shifts the atmosphere around you. It decisively breaks destructive cycles you didn't even realize were attached to your life. Tongues is the spiritual engine behind many of the miracles you've already experienced, even if you never connected the profound spiritual dots. And once this gift is fully activated, something extraordinary begins to occur. The heavenly language spoken through you suddenly requires interpretation because a new message is forming, a massive revelation is coming, and the next gift is the key that unlocks it all. The gift of interpretation. Prepare yourself fully. The final gift does not merely speak the language of heaven, it powerfully decodes it. The ninth gift is the gift of interpretation, the rare and extraordinary ability to accurately decode what heaven is truly saying when everyone else only hears meaningless noise, confusing symbols, or overwhelming chaos. This gift operates like a highly specialized spiritual translator, expertly bridging the gap between what the Spirit releases in the unseen and what the human mind is capable of comprehending in the visible. While others get hopelessly lost in confusing dreams they can't explain, powerful impressions they can't unpack, or the sound of tongues they don't understand, you are freely given the divine capacity to see the clear meaning behind the mystery. Interpretation is not about having a high human intelligence. It is purely about spiritual alignment. It's the instant moment when a dream suddenly clicks, and you feel a profound weight settle in your chest because you instantly know the message was not random chance. It's the moment when someone speaks in tongues, and a full, undeniable understanding instantly rises inside you, not as a fleeting thought, but as a direct spiritual download. It's the moment when an atmosphere suddenly shifts, and you immediately know the spiritual reason why. This gift is the reason why certain powerful dreams pursue you for days. It's why spiritual symbols feel louder and more significant to you than entire human conversations. It's why you can listen to someone describe a complex situation and immediately sense the core spiritual truth beneath their words. Most people think interpretation is simply understanding, but chosen ones know it is far deeper than that. Interpretation is revelation. It is spiritual sight. It is clearly hearing the echo behind the sound. It is accurately perceiving the message hidden inside the mystery. And the core reason this gift is awakened so strongly in chosen ones is because God cannot possibly give you profound revelation without also giving you the essential ability to interpret it. Otherwise, you would quickly drown in a flood of symbols, signs, dreams, and spiritual impressions without ever knowing how to practically apply them to your life. Interpretation brings absolute order to the supernatural. It turns complex heavenly language into practical instruction. It turns confusing dreams into immediate direction. It turns vague impressions into clear warnings. It turns profound mysteries into actionable spiritual strategy. And here is what makes this final gift so crucial to your walk. When God speaks to you, He does not always rely on physical words. Sometimes He speaks through undeniable patterns. Sometimes through powerful sensations. Sometimes through specific people. Sometimes through complete silence. And this gift allows you to accurately understand all of it. This is why chosen ones often feel like they are connecting dots that no one else can see. Why certain Bible verses hit you with a profound impact. Why prophetic dreams feel so undeniably real and heavy. Your spirit is constantly processing an influx of heavenly communication, and interpretation is the precise mechanism God gives you to make perfect sense of it all. But this gift also comes with a serious responsibility, because once you can accurately interpret what heaven is saying, you become entirely accountable for the truth you've been shown. Your choices carry significantly more weight. Your intuition becomes clearer and more reliable. Your divine assignments become sharper and more defined, and heaven begins trusting you with powerful messages meant not just for yourself, but for the wider world. And that is precisely where this gift becomes fundamentally dangerous to the forces of darkness, because interpretation exposes deception. It brings instant clarity to confusion. It ruthlessly dismantles spiritual traps. It reveals hidden motives and agendas. It pierces right through dangerous illusions. It ensures that what God speaks is never lost in translation. And as this gift fully, powerfully, and relentlessly awakens inside you, something truly extraordinary begins to happen. All 9 of the gifts you have just discovered begin to powerfully align and converge. Wisdom guides your steps, knowledge informs your decisions, faith sustains your spirit, healing flows through your presence. Miracles follow your assignments, prophecy speaks through your voice, discernment protects your path, tongues empowers your prayer life, interpretation reveals the final, sacred meaning. And when all 9 gifts powerfully converge inside a single chosen one, there is only one final truth left waiting to be revealed, a truth that will open the door to your ultimate, final transformation. Prepare yourself now. What comes next will not merely summarize the journey, it will decisively activate it. Your final activation, chosen one. Pause right now and take a deep breath. Feel what is happening inside your soul in this very moment. This is not just another video reaching its conclusion. This is a profound spiritual ignition point. You did not arrive at this revelation by mere coincidence. You did not watch this at a random hour on a random day in a random season of your life. No, heaven meticulously synchronized this exact moment with your spirit. You are standing at the end of December, right on the edge of a brand new year, precisely as the atmosphere around you is intensely shifting, and the spiritual realm is finalizing your next major assignment. Everything you experienced in 2025, every silent struggle, every unseen tear, every unexpected delay, every single moment you questioned your divine purpose, was not the intentional destruction of your destiny. It was the careful, deliberate shaping of your anointing. Every attack you endured sharpened your spiritual edge. Every delay strategically positioned you. Every disappointment carved necessary depth into your spirit. Every sincere prayer that seemed to go unanswered was actually God rooting you to something infinitely greater than what you initially asked for. You are absolutely not walking into a new year empty-handed. You are striding powerfully into it armed, empowered, awakened, and irrevocably marked by heaven. You are profoundly gifted. You are eternally chosen. You are divinely equipped. And above all else, you are desperately needed. There is a powerful reason the enemy fought you with such unbridled violence. There is a reason you were forced to face storms that others never had to endure. There is a reason God consistently kept pulling you back up when you felt you had nothing left to give. You carry something inherently dangerous to darkness, and now, finally, you know exactly what it is. This is the very moment your gifts permanently stop sleeping. This is the moment your spirit decisively stands tall. This is the moment the immense weight and responsibility on your life finally, powerfully, makes perfect sense. And before this year reaches its absolute end, I urge you to seal this spiritual awakening with your own voice, because your spoken words carry divine authority, and heaven moves when a chosen one speaks with unshakable conviction. Comment, "I activate my gifts in Jesus' name." Write it with undeniable power, with absolute certainty, and with total ownership of your identity. Because the moment you declare it, spiritual chains immediately break, closed doors violently swing open, and divine assignments instantaneously shift into motion. The entire spiritual realm instantly recognizes that you are no longer questioning who you are. You are finally walking in it. Step into 2026 not as the person you were, but as the powerful warrior God has fiercely forged for you in the fire. No more shrinking back, no more crippling doubting, no more second guessing the powerful, sacred calling on your life. Walk boldly, walk purposefully, walk with the undeniable authority of someone who knows that heaven stands completely behind you.